Progress.
All right. So yeah, again, welcome to another training of, in this case, control pack. So in this training, we're gonna cover the basics of, well, I think everything of control pack, not only using the agents, but also uh, how to install it, what's needed, what's not, of course, to properly run control pack. And as some of you guys are already users of exploit pack, so you might be familiar with our tools. Control pack is no different. It runs using Java. That means that it will be multi-platform, so it will run either on Windows, Linux, or Mac as well. So let me share the screen with control pack already running. There you go. Yes, this one. So the main difference is that in this case for control pack we do make use at least on the front end on the GUI. We do use some of the most newest features of Java. For instance, when we deploy the HTTPS and the FTP server, choose because I have it here on the screen. So those features, so these they do use these two servers, some of the newest Java features. So because of that, you do need to have the latest JDK installed. So for that, you need to go into Oracle, or you can use any of the open source flavors of Java, and then you can get the JDK from there. If you want to get the official JDK, that will be from directly from Oracle. Because as you may or may not know, but originally Java was developed by a company called Sun Microsystem, and that company was acquired just recently, well, for us recently, because it was a few years ago already. That was acquired by Oracle. So the official repository of JDK, that's the Java Development Kit, you will have to get it directly from them. After you have that installed, well, you need to decide what operating system you want to use. And then, I would recommend you guys to use Linux when possible, but otherwise it will run under Windows or on Mac as well. You have to make sure, of course, that you have right permissions to the folder that control pack is running from, because of the logs and the config files, etc. There will be a control pack and needs to have right access. If you use like huge folders in chains with spaces and so on, don't do that. It's better if you can just put it on your home folder or in a place that is easier to find. Don't try networking. Just like a network share through Samba or NFC. Just do it regularly on your own computer. That should be fine. If you have any issues trying to run it and you cannot get it running on your system, you gotta oh, let me just a second. Yes, I looks like some people cannot hear me for some reason. Can you let me open the chat, guys? If you can hear me, just yeah, can you give me some feedback? Where's the chat? Okay, so hold here. Who cannot hear me? Josh, can you hear me? I can hear you anything on my end. Can you guys check if you have, yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, make sure have sound. Okay, awesome. So I will continue. Please, yeah, just say it on the chat if you have any issues. Well, right on the topic. If you have any issues with the control pack, you can always send an email to support@exploitpack.com. And well, and also you can go to Discord and yeah, ask, and I'll find an answer. I can answer you there if you tag me, or anyone else that will be available will try to help you out with your issues. But there are some technicalities on control pack. It could be quite technical, as I will show you later. You can compile your own agents. We do have provide you with the source code for all of these agents that I'm going to show you. So when you compile any of these agents, like when you have, if you run into any issues while trying to compile or make any modifications to your source code, yeah, just let us know. If you have a license, of course. There is no trial version at the moment of control pack. We are on the deadline of making it stable. So it's gonna be 1 or 2 weeks, I heard. Then after that, it will go into stable. And yeah, so it's the last 2 weeks to get a lifetime. Then after that, it's gonna be just regular annual licenses for control pack. Yes, sure, of course, that's part of it. So why? I mean, there are so many C2s besides the commercials ones, like Cobalt Strike. Surely you hear them, but there are others. Like there are many C2s that you can use, different flavors. But why did we create one ourselves? Because we are pen testers, just like you. We do red team exercises, we do pen test for our customers, and we wanted to use something that will not be detected. And it needed to be able to bypass EDRs and ABs as well, so both. So just using anything from out there, any commercial tool, and trying to obfuscate the code, or using uh, techniques from the wild, and then starting to play around the agents and so on, and trying to use mutations, or yeah, so trying to modify it, bypassing techniques. So that proven to be so no cost effective in such a way that we ended up creating our own agents. After that, we added those agents into exploit pack, and then we ended up with so many agents to maintain, that we decided to just move on and move on everything, and then just have our own product. In this case, that's the reasoning why control pack was born, and why we keep on developing control pack. So what can you expect from control pack? So you can expect that most of the agents, I would like to say that, but that's impossible, because after I end up this training, that someone can just create a rule for or a detection for any of these agents on part of them. But what we are trying to achieve here with the control pack is that all of the agents, or the majority of them, will not be detected by EDRs or ABs. Not now, but not in the future. So how can we keep our promise? Because every time there is a new technique, every time there is something to add, a new bypass, or choose a new way of doing something, we keep adding those to our agents, like we were doing in the past. Now, just the main difference now is that we are doing it for product for control pack, but we were doing that for our own private agents. Anyway, let's try digging in. So you see the interface is quite simple, and then how do you start using it? So here, you click on control pack, then you will have these charts available to you. Some of this interface might change. So at the moment, if you are seeing a recording of this video, if we decide to make this video public, then what could happen is that this interface might change because, as I said on the beginning, this is a beta version. So some of the stuff that you see in the screen might not be or might not get into the stable version. But I suppose that more or less it's gonna be the same. But in any case, here you have your wizards. So you have a Java gel, DLL gel, BBS, browser, GDB, .NET profiler, .NET shell, and then a Python shell. We might add more in the future, or maybe delete some. It depends. So they are all behave on certain way that should be standardized or should be quite similar. So when you click, like for instance, DLL, you will see that you have to select the simple fields in. The first one is going to be your server is going to be listening to. In this case, it's going to be where is control pack is running, and then the port number that this is configured to listen to. So 8000, you can cross match it. That is gonna go to the HTTP agent server. The communications are obfuscated, not encrypted. So the stream, if you try to look at it, you will not be able to see it clearly, but it is obfuscated. So we use different type of obfuscation. So it's first base 64, then on top of it is triple. So there are two obfuscation techniques, and we can add more on top of them. And then we also have the option to use our own private obfuscation that is more tricky to decode. Then after that, you have to select the agent type because you have landed into the DLL wizard. You have two options here. Is just to create a DLL library implant that will spit out a DLL library. This library will contain the source, the agent that will communicate with the control pack. And what you have to do in this case is then load this DLL, inject into a binary, inject into a process in the memory space, or just call it from, you can choose load it with another binary or directly using Windows. So choose a regular DLL. Then you have another option that is DLL plus a PPL bypass implant. This one it will include the exploit for PPL bypass that was discovered a year ago by the Project Zero from Google. We have our own implementation of it, and what's gonna do is gonna escalate your privileges to PPL, so we will get you protected process light access, and then from there you can, of course, do whatever you want from it, because PPL will allow you to disable an antivirus or the EDRs, the sensors, and so on. This one might be aggressive, so I would recommend you that first, if you just want to get a foothold on your target, better to start with choose the DLL and not the PPL implant. And if you know already that you have to remain under the radar, what you can use is the implementation of the unhook known DLLs at this moment. And as I said before, we are trying to keep our promise on updating all the new techniques that are out there. to bypass EDRs and ABs, and this technique is currently not detected by the majority unless of ABs, unless you have something, a rule or a detection that will trigger exactly this unhook. But what's gonna do this is gonna, if you select it, then you will have a DLL implant plus the unhook of all known DLLs. So what's going to happen is that if you have this set on your DLL library, then is once the agent runs, when you get execution, this library in this case is loaded, then it's going to go through all known DLLs loaded from the binary, and then it's going to unload it, basically unhook those, because they run on the same level that I'm talking about the AB in this case, as your binary. So it's all same user space. So it's gonna unhook those. You can look at the custom source code that we made for this and our own flavor of the unhooking of the known DLLs. So you can look at that if you want to modify something, or you say, yes, while it's unhooking the known DLLs, and also I also want to unhook this extra DLL or do something else. Of course, the source code is available, not only the source code, but you will also have access to directly the project for Visual Studio. So you can install Visual Studio Community and then double click on the project, and it will get you ready to install it and compile your own DLL. In the case of a DLL, so this is the Java gel. Is a bit more simpler. So, but you see they are all similar. So you have to select the IP address and the port number that is gonna use. Not all agents communicate to the same server back, but most of them, they use the HTTP server. Why is that? Is because HTTP traffic is in most of the cases blended within the rest of the traffic. So it's not hidden, but it will be harder for SOC or for the blue team to detect the traffic on the stream, and then be able to identify which traffic is malicious and what not. So we can close this. Let's do something. Let's run it. I'm gonna run the agent from here. Well, you can. New remote agent connected. You don't have to. I choose run it from NetBeans because I'm currently standardizing the commands. But with the Java agent, you can choose double click on the jar file, run it, choose like you do with exploit pack or control pack, choose Java space -jar, or because it's also Java, what you can do, you can do a exe file. You can use something like shark2exe here. Well, my trial is expired, but there are many others. So you can use shark2exe. There is also launch4j. Let me see if I can show you that project. So basically, those will get you launch4j. So basically, those will get you it's a wrapper that will get your jar file. It will convert your jar file into a P file. It is similar of what you can do with the Python, like py2exe, and then with using py2exe, you can create an exe file out of a Python script. So I'm just saying that because then we also have the Python shell. Then again, this Python shell will have the same, and this is a good example because not only you can choose running with Python, with the Python as a Python script, you can do a Python exe, but also it doesn't connect back to the HTTP server, but it goes directly to the multi-reverse shell. So this is listening on port 1234. Okay, so I run the Java agent here on this machine, on my own machine, on this machine. So I'm running it. I have here, and then you can see there is a new agent connected on my shells. So if I click on it, I can see here a log of it, and then here I can interact directly with it. So I can do ls temp. And there are also some custom commands. So this is my temp. There are some custom commands like system info. And this is from my own machine. So yeah, there are also download files. So I can I don't know, I can choose get a file. Let's get a file. Download file. So I can get that file, and then if I go to my folder, then I can get the file itself. Oh, my Nautilus is crashing. So here, and then here's my file, past WD. So in your control pack folder, you will get the files if you use download file. There's also, of course, an upload file, and then you can run it. And besides that, you can also configure this on the autoexec. So in the case that you maybe don't know when someone is gonna connect to your agent, so it's quite useful to have some auto execution already planned in case that. So the auto execution is going to run for every agent that connects back. But if you want it, you can also do it specifically for one agent, because every agent has a custom identifier that is assigned as soon as the agent connects. So in this case, it's a IP address plus this that is a randomized. So it's basically just a cookie is an MD5 of some part of the IP address, and then using that you can create auto exec for every time the agent connects to your computer. Well, there is also this, so you can do a sysinfo from here. You can do get path, like if you want to know from where is running. This is quite useful if you upload a file, you don't know on which path are you. And then of course there is a screenshot. This is taken directly from the agent. So as soon as you click on a screenshot, then you will get the screenshot back, and it's going to use the FTP agent server to connect back. The default username and password, the credentials, are anonymous. So username and password, you can change that, of course, but then you have to also change it on the agent. So it has to be changed both ways. So let's open a terminal here. We have banner install. Oh, we can choose the top, right? Just to take another screenshot. Oh, it's gonna be the same. Yes, it's the same. So let's move it like that. Now take a screenshot. So So you can see that as soon as you take a screenshot, you get the screenshot back. But it's also a new functionality. You can also take snapshots from the webcam. So I'm gonna take a snapshot now. Yes. So that's my current desktop. So you can see that I have the exploit pack open just there. And then that's the keyboard. Well, that I don't know what's I don't know what's outside. Looks like, well, it's my lamp. It's not someone with some shiny eyes. That looks weird. So let's take a second screenshot. So that's more light. There you go. And now we can take a screenshot. All right, I think that's enough. All right, so let's move on. Besides the Asians, and of course there's plenty more to discover by yourself on a control pack. You have privilege escalations that you can use. Then you have, of course, we always keep on with the exercises, and there are some new exercises that are about to be added to control pack in terms of using these agents in scenarios that might be useful for red team exercises. And on top of that, you also have the ransomware for red team. You can also use all these agents as part of your own red team exercise. But in any case, let's move on into the phishing wizard, because that's something that's quite useful for red teaming. Here we have the phishing wizard. The phishing wizard also. Yeah, can you mute that guy? Thank you. All right. So let's.
No,
if
you
did it, I'ma have to dig you down on some gangster shit.
Praying, bro, making sure that your soul is better, bro. Make sure you raise.
All right, let me do it myself. 1 second. All right, it's done. Okay, let's continue with the. Oh, that's it. All right, yeah, please remember, guys, to just keep your mic closed, otherwise we'll have to kick you from the Zoom call. In any case, so phishing wizards. So the phishing wizard, basically, as the name says, it will allow you to create a phishing campaign, and this one is going to make use of the browser agent. It will use the agent with the integration of a keylogger that is already part of it, but then it's going to use also the login mechanisms of Outlook, Gmail, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and PayPal. You can add your own here on this list, but we're going to provide you with this. I think it's a good start for a phishing campaign, but of course it doesn't have to be like that. You can create your own login, because sometimes there's some internal login on your network. I don't know if you are using any ticket system or something that you develop yourself that has a login on your own network, and then you need to try that against your user base. For this, you can, of course, then you can use this, and then you can send the emails, the invitations, or the trigger for that campaign using your own list. So here you can add a CSV comma separated list of emails that you want to send. And then the emails is your email needs to be modified under preferences. And then you can then you can use the SMTP server that you want to use to send these emails out, and supports TLS and SSL. So it should be plenty enough to cover. And we also even tried with the Gmail, and it's also working. No, there is no issues with that. If you want to test it, you need to select a local host. Otherwise, you need to host the agent in the same domain that your control pack server is going to be running. So let's click on test campaign so you can see it. So as soon as you are received here into this page, this is just the test page. So let's click on Gmail. This is a good example.
New remote agent connected.
As soon as I click it, I don't know if you hear it, but this control pack says, hey, there is a new agent connected. And I can see it here. There is a Chrome browser, and it's connected to my control pack. So the first agent is a Linux, is the Java agent. And then I also have the browser to the cross-site scripting. In this case, is this agent. So I have both connected. First one is this one, and then the second one is the one for the browser. Depends, of course, you will pick up the icon depending on the type of browser that you choose. So if there is Edge, Internet Explorer, or Firefox, you will see it here, and of course, it will always take in this case, you can see that it's connected here, but it's showing my public IP because it's reaching, as far as I remember, is reaching Amazon in order to get the public IP that you are using. So this is the public IP that I have now. Is just a dynamic IP from my ISP. So in an hour, it's going to be something else. But it's important that you use that you have this public IP if you want to connect back to it. And again, you also have a MD5 for that. All right. Going to the agent, as I said, as soon as you connect to these phishing agents, the keylogger will be active because it was active already. So now if I type something here, it's going to be logged. This is being logged. Simple password 123. So now if I go here, you can see this is being logged at gmail.com, simple password 123. I made some spaces and backspaces so you can see how it's taken on this on the console. If I go back, and of course, it will, if you actually log in, it will take you to Gmail. So because it's loading the Gmail API, so it's actually this is actually a Gmail login. So if you use, you can try it. You can try it here. If I try now, you will see my Gmail credentials. I cannot do it, but you can. If you can try yourself. Here, if you type your actual Gmail credentials, or for the case of I don't know, Twitter, Reddit, or Facebook, or PayPal, it will also take you through PayPal. So that's how it works. So again, this is connected. You see that I don't have a different agent every time because it's the same agent. So control pack detected that it's the same agent, so it keeps the same cookie because it's coming from the same browser. So if it's coming from a different browser, then it's going to have a different one. But in that case, you can know that if you have multiple agents, but it's coming from the same browser, you will not have multiple agents logged into it. So let's type as something different, PayPal account.com and password 123. You see it's is gonna be logged there. If I don't know if I have the AutoExec connected, but the same goes for Twitter or Outlook. Oh yeah, and there is this. Of course, you can remove it if you want it, but it says this is the ability of initial data meant to be used in a lab environment only. This content of this website has been made available for information and education purpose only. Any actions? So this message is gonna pop up. So it's informing your user about what's gonna happen to him. So this is meant to be used only in labs. If you want to remove that, then you have to remove it yourself from this page. Example, Outlook, test 1, 2, 3. And then if you want to communicate with the agents, go back to this one. Then you can of course make use of all these features that you have for each agent. They are different. They are, as I said at the beginning, these features, they are not standardized, but you can make use of them already because the functionality is already there. So how do you run any of this? You can use the terminal again. Remember to select the agent that you want to run. If you want to close one or remove it from it, like let's say I want to kill these two, so this one is already closed and now it stays there, so for history and for log purposes. And I also gonna kill the Java agent. I can clean the console, just clicking the clear button, and then I can also delete my agents. So it's gonna be deleting all my agents from there. So now I have a clear state of the agents. But if you want to remove everything, you can start fresh and then choose open a new control pack instance. Let me show you a different agent then. Yeah, let's create one. I'm gonna need the Windows machine for that. So let's do .NET shell. So it's gonna be like that. Generate. So as soon as I click generate, then I can put it into the desktop. And then here it can be .NET shell. And then it's gonna create my zip file. So here it is. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it net shell to this machine. Let's see if this copy works. Did it copy? Oh, but I also want to show you. I also want to show you this. Besides that, so this is the source code for this is the net agent. So if you go to your control pack folder, set controller pack, you will see an agent source folder. So there you will find this, and inside it you will have the source code for the agents. In this case, it's for Windows, on the project itself. So if you double click the project, it will take you into Visual Studio. So there's nothing to hide, nothing to lose if you want to learn as well how these agents were created. But not only that, you can modify these agents and you don't have to trust exploit pack and by using a control pack of the binaries that we have, because the binaries that you will have created every time you run these shells. So this is one, it's back here. So if you will have the binary file, right? And then what's next to it is the config file that is just as simple as this. There are so many options. There are many options more. There are many more options that you can use for these agents. But what you need as basic is choose the host name and the port where it's gonna connect back to it. So, and that's auto-generated from the wizard. So it's not something that you have to create. So when you run the wizard, it will auto-generate those for you. Let's see if we can run another nation, something on Windows. Or we can just try the Java agent as well. Let me see what I have here, because sometimes this VM behaves a little bit. Let's check if I have the correct IP. This is not it. Okay, let's change this manually. All right.
New remote agent connected.
So this is the .NET agent. And as you've seen, it went there. So just to show you that the agent is running. But of course, you can inject this agent if you want it into a DLL, so it will disappear, or you can just hide this agent. So the actions that are taken here is that it's gonna first just run this front end for you, so you can make an auto connection or connect to a different control pack or exploit pack server. But as soon as it's running, from the user context that is running, you can inject it into a different process. So it doesn't have to be like this. So it can be injected into a different process. Of course, because it's .NET, it needs to be another .NET process. So if you want to inject a control pack agent into any other process, then you need to use a DLL. But if you are using the .NET agent, it can only be injected into a different .NET process. The other option is to choose hide the agent, and then it will just be hidden, and it cannot be found anymore. But the agent, of course, is still running. And from there, you can do system info, and you can interact with the agent directly from there. Choose like, oh, is this still running? Let me check it again. Or did I? Maybe I open an old one. Let me check on this. Oh no, it was still running. No, I opened two now. Okay, but it's still going into the same one.
New remote agent connected.
Yeah, so I opened two. There you go. So well, it was still running. It was just taking more than 1 second to go back with the command. All right, guys, I think that's enough for this session. I think we can cover a lot more ground when we start talking deeper into how these agents behave, how they were constructed in terms of code, the techniques that are implemented on each agent, but that will take way longer than half an hour or an hour. That's what we have for this training. But in the future, we will go into the different agents. Can you please ban this guy? Oh my gosh, this Carlos guy. There you go. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. I think that's it.
What's confusing you? Daddy's always on the move, mama's always on the news. I try to keep you sheltered from it, but somehow it
Recording
seems the
stopped.
harder that I
The
try to do
recording
that,
has
the more it
stopped.
backfires on